Yeah. So we're going to be dealing with UI design, which is how things look, UX design, how things work, and introduction to Figma. That's just it. UI design, how things look, UX design, how things work, then introduction to Figma. I'm going to try to make this as interactive as possible. Whenever I ask a question, you can just make sure to use the comment section to just drop whatever you're going to be, what I want to say. So without further ado, we are jumping right into it. UI design just means user interface design. UI means user interface. UI means user interface, and it deals with the application's graphical layout, which includes buttons, screen layout, animations, transitions, micro interactions, and so on. In short, UI, which stands for user interface, is all about how things look. So I presume that each of us are looking at me for you are watching me from a particular source, be it your laptop or your phone. You're watching me from somewhere. That which you see is a user interface. I'm very, very sure that depending on where you are watching me from, the size of your screen is different, the layout of the meeting is different. Do you agree with me? I'm sure some might be watching from their laptops, some might be watching from their phones. The layout is different. Do you agree? If you agree, you can just type yes. I'm going to be needing us to type yes from time to time. Yes, no, your opinions from time to time. So the way an application looks like on phone is different from the way it will look like on laptop. It's different from the way it will look like on a billboard, a digital billboard. It's different from the way it's going to look like there. So the user interface is the graphical layout. When you want to open WhatsApp or when you want to type or send a message to someone on WhatsApp, once you have typed the message you want to send, you see at the edge of the screen, you can just click something that would, once you tap on that, you send. Same with Telegram. When you want to open something, there are different things that are there. You have your cards. There's a way the screen is well laid out. There's a way things are animated. There's a way the transition works out. There are micro interactions. User interface. That is what user interface is all about. And user interface includes some formats. GUI, which stands for graphical user interface. Graphical user interface is how users interact with the visuals and digital control panels of a system. The computer's desktop is an example of a GUI. Your phone interface is an example of a GUI. That is graphical user interface. The way you interact with the visuals of a system, the digital controls. For some of you, if you want to do certain things, depending on the kind of phone you use, they are different. The way I view a website is different from on my phone is different from the way I view it on my laptop. That is the graphical user interface. For we who are going to be prospective UI designers, you need to be conversant about these different kind of screens and the design for each of these things. It's called responsive design, whereby you design putting in mind the different kind of screens. But let's not go too forward. Let's take it step by step. Now, gesture based interface. Remember, we are talking about the UI design formats. We have gesture based interface. Recently we have been moving forward, we have been progressing with AI, we have been progressing with chat GPT, all sorts of AI, augmented reality, virtual reality. Gesture based interface is when you design for, when you design for virtual reality. That is basically what gesture based interface means. Design 3D designs whereby users can see and interact with it. The third one we are going to be talking about is voice controlled interface. VUI design deals with interaction between a user and a system using voice. Some of us have Bixby, some of us have Cortana, some of us have Siri. Which one? Which other one do you have? Which other one do you have? Can you just type any type? Can you just give me any example of any voice controlled interface that you have interacted with before. Can you do that quickly? Just use the chat, the comment section to to just tell me anyone that you've interacted with. Personally, I interact with Cortana, I interact with Siri. So can you just type and tell me which one you interact with? I'm waiting for us. Are we with me? Are we with me? Alexa, beautiful. Alexa, that's beautiful. Alexa is one. Alexa is one. Which one have you interacted with personally? Personally, even if I mentioned it, which one have you interacted with? Okay, I'm waiting for one more. Okay, Google, beautiful. Google Assistant. Okay, Google. All right, so we are going to be moving forward. The elements of UI design. We have typography, we have colors, we have icons and imagery, we have layout and composition. Typography, text, colors, the kind of colors you use in your design, they go a long way into determining how the design would look like, the kind of emotions that the it's going to communicate with the user, the kind of icons that you use, the kind of images that you use to depict certain things, the layout, the composition. There is a way things are strategically positioned in your design to help users to better visualize them. I would like to show us something very, very quickly. I'd like to show us something very, very quickly. All right. Can you see this tab? Can you see what I'm sharing? If you can see what I'm sharing, can you tell me the name of what I'm sharing? Can you tell me the name of what I am sharing? Can you just type what you can see? Like I said, it's going to be interactive. I need your feedback so I'll know that okay, you're with me. Can you type what you can see? Okay, iPhone 14 Pro, beautiful. Let's move forward. Now, this is the Apple site, and I really love to use this when I'm explaining UI design because it just goes to show how users can make use of different elements to talk about or to depict certain things. Now, I'll zoom into this page. Can you see that depending on how uh, the size of my screen is, the way these things respond is different. Now, look at this. I highlight on certain things and there is a drop down. This is called a drop down. This is called a drop down. Depending on what I highlight on, you can see that once someone comes here, there's this looks like a bag. This is the search bar. Once I click on this, I am able to search. And you can see the way these things are arranged. You can see the way they are arranged. Their latest product is what is on their landing page. When I say landing page is the first time you get on the site, the first thing you see. This is the hero section of the landing page. That first page is the landing page. So you can see that there are different things. There's a way they arranged it. Imagine they had put this footer section, imagine they had put it here. It will definitely affect their sales. Why? Because depending on what you want the user to do, that is what is going to be at the front, or that is what is going to be at the top, depending on what you want users to do. So, what Apple wants their user to do is to purchase or to get information on the iPhone 14 Pro, and they have successfully been able to get us to do that. You can see their logo is represented here, icon represented here, color you can see blue, you can see the way they made use of white, black, and blue, then integrating the colors of their other products to just depict and give us a visual outlook of what their site looks like. Now, moving forward to user experience. User experience, UX means user experience, and that deals with how things work. Before I move forward, let me take questions on UI design. If you have any question, you can raise your hand and I would answer now. Whether a question on user interface design or a question on, yeah, user interface design, everything I've explained since, you can just give me or just tell me, ask any question if you have any. Does anyone have any question? If you have a question, ask now and I would answer you. Any question about all that I've explained since? If we don't have questions, then I will assume that we all understand about user interface design. User interface design. Okay, in that case, let me ask a question. Have you ever interacted with a bad design, bad user interface? Is there any site or any application that you've interacted with and you did not like the way the interface was structured? Give me an example below. Can you give me an example? Give me an example. Give me an example. If you've interacted with a digital product and I did not like the user interface, can you give me an example below? Just use the comment section. Use the comment section if you have interacted with something that is not, you did not really like the user interface. And if you don't have any that you did not like the user interface, which is that platform that you've interacted with that you love the interface so much that it really caught your attention? Which interface is that? Which interface is that? Which interface has really caught your attention that you really like interacting with it? I'm waiting for our responses. I'm waiting for our responses, please. Which user interface have you interacted with that you like? Which interface have you interacted with that you did not like? Can you just let me know in the comment section? Or if you would like to talk, you can just raise your hand. DSTV site, you like it? Okay, okay. DSTV site, you like DSTV site? Okay, in that case, let me take a quick look at DSTV website. Ah, I see. Are you talking about this site? Are you talking about this site? Are you talking about this site? Oh, beautiful, beautiful. Oh, this is a nice site. This is a nice site. This is a nice site. Now, based on what I explained for user interface design, we can see how they made use of text, how they arranged everything in this site. We can see their landing page. We can see the other pages, how they made sure to use different elements. You can see that once you get to the edge of the screen here, there is an option for you to the cursor changes, and once you click on it, it slides to the next side. Access more banking app. Do you like it or you dislike it? Do you like it or you dislike it? Look at this. Look at the way this is structured. Oh, you like it, you like it. A number of bank apps are quite nice, but there is this bank app that I have interacted with recently that I really do not like, and that's UBA Bank. UBA's UBA Bank, the application is not it's not looking too nice at the moment. It was nice before, but it's not looking too nice at the moment. Moving forward, let's move into user experience design, which is how things work. How things work. Now, user experience design, UX, deals with how users interact. Oh, Caleb, I see your message. UBA is not cool at the moment. I just hope they improve on it. And yes, if it's once we get started on Figma, and yeah, you can just make a redesign based on how you believe these things or how you believe the site can look like. You can make a redesign and post it. Nothing says you cannot do that. So nothing says you cannot do that. So if time permits us, we can do a quick redesign of an application. a certain any maybe website or so. So user experience design deals with how users interact with the system, the logical navigation, the smoothness and intuitiveness of the design. So logical navigation, how smooth and intuitive the experience is, all fall under UX design. There is a quote that I would like to tell us now. Good design is invincible. Good design is invincible. When a design is good, permit me to use pigeon. They say when a design they burst brain, when design is busting brain, it's invincible. You really, apart from the fact that you know that this design is good, it's really really nice. You cannot really pinpoint and say this is what is making this design good. But when something is bad, when a design is bad, you just look at the design and be like, no 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 no, no, this design is really really bad. It's really bad. But once a design is good, it's invincible. Users just move smoothly as they interact with the application. Now, when you are designing, there are certain emotions. Okay, sorry, Olorun Junwon. I'm recording this class and I'll make sure to make it available. I'm recording it and I'll try to make it available. Now, to get a feeling of the UX process, there are some steps. Interaction design deals with how users can complete their tasks effortlessly by using the interactive components of a system. So here we are talking about page transitions, we are talking about animations, we are talking about buttons, and we are talking that's what we are talking about. We are talking about um the clicking, how it responds when we click on it. So using the site that this person gave us, DSTV sites, he said let's share DSTV site and take a look at the DSTV site. Now, this person said he likes the DSTV site. Now, what the user experience does is, although user experience does not deal with how the site looks, it deals with how the site works. So, if there is an issue with me getting things done on the site, it means that I have a bad experience, or if due to the way I position things, due to the way the user interface is, I am having a bad time using the application, or there is something that I cannot see, that means I am having a bad user experience. So, interaction design, like I said, it deals with how I can complete my task. So, for example, if I want to subscribe, because if I go to the DSTV site, one thing I might want to do is to subscribe or to watch something. If I want to watch something, let's say, let me click on this button and see where it takes me. So it takes me to this site. And on this site, I am given the option to put in my smart card number, put in my surname, and sign in. So for somebody that wants to get into their account, they are able to do that using that tab. They're able to get that done using that tab. So, but take for example, I click on that and I am not able to get to where I want to get to, or based on the color, I am having a really bad time using the application, or the button that I clicked on is not working as I want it to work. That means that it would elicit a bad experience for the user. So, interaction design deals with how users can complete their tasks effortlessly. Now, user research, another step in user experience design is user research. It involves conducting extensive research. You are going to be very, very detailed. Some of us might have come in contact with a number of our friends that want to get their final year project done, and then they give us a link, or for some people, they give us a paper and they want us to tick certain things. And based on what we mark or what we check, they come up with some conclusions. Okay, and they say that okay, for some the one I've interacted with personally, I've interacted with one where they were trying to get a survey of our lecturers' teaching styles in my school. It was anonymous. And to be frank, because the way our lecturers taught was not really the best. So I had to be sincere with it. and it was going to be used by the general university body to, deduce how we were being taught in school or how we were grasping things. I'm not sure they did anything about it. But the aim of user research, you make design decisions based on the parameters that you get from your user research. I'm sure for an application like UBA Bank, we said we didn't like UBA Bank. Caleb said he does not like UBA Bank. I said I don't like UBA Bank. So for UBA Bank, we could take on a project and say that we are going to redesign the whole UBA Bank user interface and make it functional also. Once we conduct our research, I could send a Google form to everybody on the group and say, okay, help me, just tell me what you feel about this, tell me what is good, tell me what is bad, and let me know. Based on what everybody says, I'll then take those results, then come up with certain design parameters. Okay, I know that when I want to design this now, there are some certain things I will do, there are some things I would not do. And when we are coming up with design solutions also, you have to carry out user research. You have to carry out user research. Why? Because you are not just designing for yourself. The reason why you are trying to build a product is because you believe that it's going to solve a particular problem. And in solving a problem, you cannot begin to add to the problems of other people when they want to use your application. User retention time, it's estimated to be about 8 seconds. Once somebody comes somewhere and they cannot grasp what you are trying to say within 8 seconds, they move out. So we have to prioritize giving people a good user experience. And how can we do this? We have to make our research. In investment, when people are going to invest, they will tell you DYOR. What does DYOR stand for? Do your own research. So you don't just jump in. So they'll say, okay, this is not financial advice. Before hopping in, make sure to do your research. That's what they're trying to tell us. So let's move forward. Information architecture is also a main step of user experience design. Let me share the Apple design. Let me share the Apple website again. Now, you can see that the way this is structured, from the name information architecture. So boil it down. Basically, when you hear information architecture, can you type what? When you hear information architecture, what comes to mind? What comes to mind? I need answers now. Can you just type quickly? What comes to mind when you hear information architecture? When you hear information architecture, what comes to mind? I'm waiting for feedback. I don't want us to wait too long here so that we can move through. Once I teach us this, I take us straight through to Figma. It's an introductory class. We are just going to be doing introduction. Exactly how information are structured or laid. And looking at this Apple website, you can see that for any true business-minded person, you can see that this is going to be converting. When I mean converting, I mean that it's going to help you to make sales. Why? Because take a look at this. The moment you go on the Apple site, the first thing you see is their latest product. It's not their past. They have other products, but their latest product is the first thing you are going to see. Look at this. Then you can now begin to see other things, their iPads, but the one they know people use the most is mobile phones. So take a look at this iPhone 14 Pro, learn more about it, and what's the next option for you to buy? So the way information is structured is going to affect your product. If it is structured badly, imagine iPhone 14 Pro is at the bottom of the page. They aren't going, it's going to basically affect their sales, especially when they have people who come to their site to purchase things. So, like I said, the journey now from one page to the other is also part of the architecture. So the moment you click buy, they don't even waste time trying to they don't waste time trying to talk too much about it. They just move straight to you ordering, because they believe that, number one, before you come to their site, you would have done a bit of research or maybe by word of mouth. And let's say you attended their live event, you watched it, and look at it here. They just tell you a bit of it, and they tell you the one you want, pick the storage, and they just give you some other options. And once you've done that, that's all. They just take you to where you are going to buy and you purchase. So the aim is to get people to purchase, and they have laid out the information that way. Information architecture requires a UX designer to understand the relationship between different sets of content and present them in the most understandable way possible. So, based on your research, based on based on how you believe that users want to see the information from your research, you then lay out things that way. You lay your information out that way to help them to have a good user experience. I'll move forward now. For good user experience design, you should follow these practices. The product should be easily usable, logical, and self-explanatory. You know, there are some times that I would try to learn some things, and what I go to search for is, or when I go to search for some things, I'll see in part of the search results a dummy's guide to learning programming, a dummy's guide to learning user interface design, a dummy's guide to learning user experience design. What are they trying to do? They are trying to bring it down to the lowest of the lows, so such that anybody that comes there can understand. They are not giving anybody any option that, okay, I have to click out or I have to check out other resources. They know that the moment you come there, they want you to be able to understand. And the product should solve users' problems. It should not add to it. The product should solve users' problems. The product should be accessible and usable to a wide range of people. When we talk about accessibility, imagine a blind person trying to use an application. How do you design to make sure that a blind person can use an application? For text, not digital text now, writing text, they understand that a blind person would not be able to read it. And then they came up with Braille. Braille spelled as Braille. So they came up with Braille, and once a blind person runs his or her hands through the Braille text, I've seen a video where a blind person can give a speech. All the person just needs to do is to run his or her hands through the Braille text. Then the product should create a positive experience for the user, allowing them to complete tasks without frustration. From point A to point K, the user should be able to just go B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K easily without being stressed at all, without the person having a bad user experience. Now, is it possible for you to design an application such that the user does not have a bad experience at all? Yes, it is. Yes, it is. To a large extent. At least you say 95% gives the user a good experience. The user wants to do K, you give the user all that is needed to get that done. Let's move forward. Now, this is just a Venn diagram that shows user experience, user interface, and then the intersections. Now, before I explain this, based on what I have explained on user interface design and user experience design, do you have any question? 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 Any question? I'll take any question now before I move forward. Sir, you are confused. Confused about. What are you confused about? All right, at the most basic level, let me just give a quick recap. At the most basic level, user interface. Oh, you're just hearing user something. Now, when we say something is UI UX design, you came late, I understand. When we say something is UI/UX design, UI means user interface. UX means user experience. And I just finished explaining all that UX entails. Remember, I'm not trying to make this so complicated that nobody can understand. I want to just give it to you at surface value, then give you enough information such that when you continue in your design journey, you already have all that is needed, at least all the prerequisites for you to get started. So, Jude, just make sure you stay with us. I'm recording this class and I'll make sure that you get it the moment you are done. Is that fine? Now, let's continue. UX deals with, look at the first thing there, product strategy. Second one, user research. Third one, information architecture. Fourth one, testing and iteration. The video is being recorded. It is. First one, like I said, product strategy for user experience. Second one, user research. Third one, information architecture. Fourth one, testing and iteration. Now, product strategy. There has to be a strategy behind your product. Once you are going to come up, or once you are going to build a product, there has to be why. Why are you building the product? When I say why are you building the product, I mean which problem is it solving? Who? Who are the people that the product is going to serve? Who are the people that the product is talking about? So where can they access it? Which mobile devices is it going to cater for? So do you understand the basic things I've explained regarding product strategy or user experience? I'm just giving you the basic things that you need for user experience. Product strategy, user research. You need to make research. Information architecture, the way the information is laid out and structured. Testing and iteration. Before a product gets to the end users, it must be tested. Before a product gets to the end users, it must be tested. If it is not tested, there is a high chance that if there is any error, you would not you will not be able to note any mistake, and when the users begin to use it, they would have bad user experiences. And in some cases, you only have a few trials to get people to see that your profile or your platform rather is good. Once you are not able to do that, they uninstall. That's why there is a review tab in app stores. People give their reviews on your app and they're like, when you come on this application, I had a bad experience. It is not good. It is really, really bad. That is because they had a bad user experience. While some might do it out of sheer wickedness, I understand that. Some are really quite sincere. They are just plain sincere and they are like, your site is not good, to be very, very honest. Now, moving on to user interface. User interface was what I explained before I explained user experience. User interface meaning how things look, user experience, how things work. User interface deals with color theory, typography, design patterns, interactivity and animation. Interactivity and animation. Now, have you ever experienced, I'm asking if you have ever experienced using a phone that when you tap, iPhone has it, when you tap on the keyboard, it gives a clacking sound. A clacking sound. Have you ever experienced, or have you ever used a phone like that? Excuse me. Have you ever used a phone like that, where the moment you tap on, even as it's touch screen, the moment you tap on the keyboards, or you are trying to type something, you are hearing a clacking sound, clack, 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 clack. Have you ever used that? I'm waiting for feedback. Is there anybody that has used that? Is there anybody that has used something like that? Aha, Caleb, thank you. And if you have played, I think for PS4, if you play PS4 and you make use of the tab, even for our phones, for some games now, the moment especially for PS4, there's something called haptic feedback. There's something called haptic feedback, and we are beginning to see that haptic feedback is being used in a number of digital products and their accessories. So when you are playing PS4 and you score a goal, or the football hits the bar, the pad that you're using to play the game vibrates. This is to give you, there's something called an immersive experience. An immersive experience. So you feel like, yeah, truly I'm playing something. So, or when you're trying to, when you click on a button and just hear a kind of tap or a kind of sound, that is what interactivity does. When you interact with something and you get feedback, or when when you see a button somewhere and it's like the button is slightly elevated, so the moment you click on it, then it moves or it just enters as if you truly clicked on something, really. Oh, Jude, I guess Jude was able to react with PS4, the PS4 analogy. When there's an interception, that's true. When you slide somebody and you tackle, you do a rough tackle, there is going to be a vibration on the pad. So that's just to show you interactivity. But in this case, that is not the user interface. That is part of the user experience because you really cannot see it. But in certain cases, when you interact with some buttons, you hear some sounds. When you click on some shadows, you see that it interacts, or it just reacts to your touch. And there are some places where you click on something and you just see a kind of animation just pops up before you move on. Are we clear on that? Are we clear on that? I'm saying this because from now on we are moving to introduction to Figma. Introduction to Figma. Introduction to Figma. This is going to be hands-on. This is going to be hands-on. As much as possible, I'll try to design live. I'll try to do a design live. So do we all understand? I need 4 people to tell me if they understand before we move forward. 4 people tell me they understand. So I'll, okay, Jude understands. Jude understands. Who else understands? User experience deals with how things work. User interface deals with how things look. The little you heard, you understood it. All right. Caleb says we are good to go. All right. I'm waiting for the rest of us. I'm waiting for the rest of us. Do we all understand? I'm going to move to introduction to Figma. I'm going to move to introduction to Figma. All right. Okay, Bakari, Bokon, we are good to go. So now I will I'll just go. Let me try setting it up for us. I'll try setting it up. For those that are with their laptops, you can just type figma.com. For those that are with their laptops, type figma.com. Let me stop this.